Why did Judy love gay men?
Well,
Look, you've gone straight back in.
sorry, I can answer that bit.
You do that bit, I'll do the next bit.
So her father was gay and out, and it was a sort of open secret in the family, and so she obviously felt very comfortable around male gay figures and married several. um, uh, and in Hollywood as well in the 40s, I think she was very, people were much more behind the closed doors in the Beverly Hills retreats. There were parties that were very. Was it Noel Coward? I think he was there, who had big for the gay community in Hollywood parties, and she was very much the part of that. So she was just very comfortable with them. In terms of what she means to the gay community.
Zone. No, we did a screening the other night that was largely members of the gay community, and we kind of opened it to the floor as to exactly why there was so much support. And I think the fact that she was knocked down so often and got back on her feet and was a fighter was something that they kind of recognised in their own lives, and knew that she was supportive of their community. And I think as well this recognition of themselves in the Wizard of Oz, so as themselves as the Scarecrow or the Cowardly Lion. It's people that kind of had felt in their lives that as if they were lacking something. That seems to be a theory that's going around. But there's also the fact that she was this incredibly funny, outspoken woman that had this incredible voice, but was outspoken at a time when perhaps women weren't as heard as they might otherwise have been. So yeah, it's a number of reasons. I don't think it is one single reason.
Well, it was partly to talk to that community, the LGBT community. Also, there were accounts of Garland, even though this scene is imagined. There are stories of her just spending hours talking to strangers in bars in this period, and her fans. She was always had time for her fans. The scene with part of that scene with the two gay guys, though, is to talk to that connection and that what she means to them, but also to explore the distance between them. That there's an essential sort of, she is on the pedestal, and that although they do connect over that night, particularly her with Andy Nyman's character, she leaves alone and separate from them, and that almost like a sort of religious figure, she had to be object to them, and actually maybe what she needs in that moment in the film is not to be on a pedestal, just to be a very normal, very real person. And they do treat her that way for a few hours, but then she has to go back to being Judy Garland, the sort of celebrity, and or not. She's not part of their world, and they are a couple, of course, and she's alone. And I found that tension interesting. Yeah. I mean, she's.
Go on.
She was always, she was the only choice. I mean, we needed someone who was the right age, who could sing, who was funny, but above all, who. I think the thing with Judy Garland is that she can be perceived, or maybe my idea of her, or the later part of her life is, it's all drugs and alcohol, and she's a diva, and it's like incredible, but it's like gothic and over the top, which she could be at times, and there's a bit of that in the film. But I felt that there was obviously also a really fragile, loving, needy, delicate person there as well. When you look at the TV interviews and the home videos, loneliness. She talks a lot. A lot of the most famous Garland quotes are about her loneliness and why she can never find love. And so I wanted her to feel like very real as well. And the thing about Renee is she has that movie star ability, like Tom Hanks or Jimmy Stewart, just to feel like we know them. Like they're very, very famous, but equally you could sit on the bus with them, and which is probably true with Renee, you could actually, which is partly a humility, but it's also just some special quality that certain movie stars have. And I feel that's how a lot of the fans of Judy talk about Judy. They sort of they want to look after her, and so I think that warmness was very important, and Renee is like the perfect actor for that.